I just did a full review of this game and not a single bit of the audio recorded. What's up, guys? This is Lode Runner Legacy. This is just launching on Steam today, um, and I'm pretty excited about it. Lode Runner is a game that, although I had it on the NES, most of the people who are familiar with Lode Runner know it from its pre-8-bit computing days, Commodore 64, MS-DOS, things like that. Mostly Commodore 64. But yeah, they made a remixed version, and it's got a lot of features. Now here we're seeing, where it says Adventure, we see the pre-made campaign, the new campaign with this new version. However, I'm going to take a look at the classic version first, because I want to make sure that they've preserved, you can see what I did on my previous version. I want to make sure that they've preserved what this game was. And you can see it's powered entirely by voxels. Although apart from the voxel setup, the graphics are pretty true, at least to the MS-DOS version. Again, I was an NES player, so my familiarity with the early computing versions of the game is somewhat limited. I think it's also worth noting that it reads full controller support on the Steam store page, but the pressing of the buttons, the direction that you have to press in order for the holes to appear, that seems to be completely preserved. I haven't had to do any settings to get that to work right. So we can jump out of here and move on to the next one. I can't remember if in the original version it was barrels or lumps of gold. I'm most familiar with the NES version, so I want to say these should be lumps of gold instead of barrels, but I could be wrong about that. But that leads me into the next bit, is the creation tools. Lode Runner on the NES was one of the few NES games that had a level editor, and not just had a level editor, but had one that was fun to play with. So of course there is an editor included, but there's also not just an editor, but there is asset creation tools. You can create a new character. You can create the items that you go pick up, which is really cool. It has workshop support. Not only does it have workshop support, but it's launching with a populated workshop. You can play as the guy from Cave Story, as well as a couple other things. Let me grab this one, make this the last level. Alright, so the gameplay appears to be 100% preserved, apart from being recreated with voxels instead of 2D sprites. How do I do this? Am I missing one? Yeah, I'm missing one. That's why. Ha! So there you have it. There's the legacy version. One other thing when comparing this to the NES game, you could press select in the NES version and pick any level from 1 all the way up to 99. That is also preserved here. I don't have to unlock anything. This goes all the way up to 99, and they appear to be the same levels as well, which is pretty sweet. One problem I've run into just trying to try out some of the modes is that when you hit pause, there's no button to go directly back to the main menu, which is kind of a pain. This is, you can see the characters much more detailed here. This is the main campaign that comes along, newly created. And the board to start, as you can see, it's much, much smaller. However, as you proceed through the game, you can see in the world map, the elements get much more tiny, so the boards get bigger. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they accomplish this by making everything crammed onto the screen, or if it employs some scrolling. I'd like to see some scrolling. However, unlike the classic mode, the future levels are locked, so I won't know until I sit here and play through this. Alright. I can see the items as well as the character are much more detailed here. And this is great. This is a great... I play a lot of games at 5 in the morning, between 5 and 6. That's my prime time for games. So this seems like a great 5 in the morning game. Alright. Check out the third level, and we'll call that it for the new campaign. Nope, I messed that up. Nope, messed that up. see if I can go in there and die. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what's gonna happen. I did not solve the puzzle. No. Alright. So in order to exit, I'm gonna have to go to select level. And then from here, I'll hit exit or escape. And that gets me back. So we have a character creator and we have an item creator. There's also a level editor. Now let's take a look at the character creator. Now this is something I probably won't mess with on my own, but the fact that it's here gives me a chance to really take advantage of people with creative talent. This can, you know, feed directly into the Steam Workshop, which is launching populated. So we can put some little mustache there. Wow. I'll make a Mario. And he's got blood everywhere. Yeah, I'm really bad at these kinds of things. But you can see the changes I make here. I mean, they are demoed on all the different animations. When I first glanced at this, I thought that meant I was going to have to redraw for each animation. But no, that's not the case. Which is pretty cool. So that's great. It's pretty intuitive. I mean, if you're into the placing of the voxels. Now let's take a look at the level editor. One thing I'd be curious to see. Yeah, there you go. So that's the way they do the larger levels then, so they don't scroll. Yeah, so it also looks like it looks like none of the stuff for the classic version are included in the level editor, which considering you can create items, I imagine before too long you should just be able to get those items off the workshop if you can't already. So that's cool. This is Lode Runner Legacy. Now at full price it retails at $20, but it's 20% off at launch. This launches today. So if we go to the store page, just from this cursory glance, seems like a great game for early morning play. $19.99 normal price, but 20% off, 16 bucks. I would have liked to have seen a Linux version. Right now this is it's only for Windows. Especially in a game like this, because it seems like it'd be perfect for Linux. I mean, the controller compatibility is great. What better game to play on the couch than Lode Runner? It would have been nice if it worked with SteamOS, but we're moving towards more Linux games. But not every game is a Linux game. But I think that's one of very few downfalls I see with it. Well, that's it. That's all I got for Lode Runner Legacy. If you like it, you can pick it up at Steam. It's pretty cool, man. Alright, this is Critical Failure for TigerClaw TV. Signing off as soon as I can find the button.